Today we are changing the condenser, orifice tube, high pressure service port, and the accumulator dryer on a 1997 GMC Safari. Total cost was about $160, including the oil. At this point, the headlamps and grill have been removed. If you need a guide for that, check out this video. This condenser is still operating properly, but the AC system is still the stock system. We are replacing the condenser as preventive maintenance. A quick word about the 609 certification. My understanding is that you do not have to be 609 certified in order to replace these components on a vehicle that belongs to you. If the AC system is emptying and nobody's getting paid. That's the good news. You do not have to be certified. The bad news, you will have to remove the front bumper. It's not that bad. There's 2 bolts on each side of the bumper, removed with a 10mm socket and extension. Next, remove the bumper cover retainers using a trim tool. Center the trim tool into that middle piece there. Prying up should remove it, but sometimes they resist and you basically have to break them off. Replacements are made by Dorman, part number 961070. There's 5 of these on top and 3 more on the bottom of a stock bumper. After that, the bumper comes off. Using a 15mm socket, remove the 4 bolts holding the bumper reinforcement to the frame. Now you have access to the 2 bolts securing this metal piece. Remove them with a 13mm socket. At this point, you will loosen the condenser's inlet and outlet flare connections using a 15/16 wrench. With a 10mm socket, remove the 4 bolts securing the condenser to the radiator. Now you can fully disconnect the condenser's inlet and outlet connections. It would be a good idea to vacuum the radiator at this point. I removed this connector so it doesn't damage the new condenser as I put it in. The new condenser calls for 1 fluid ounce of PAG 46. Simply measure 1 fluid ounce and pour it into the condenser's inlet. The condenser should fit in, no problem. When aligning the bolts to the radiator, start with the driver's side top. It has the aligning bracket. The inlet and outlet are snugged. The vertical metal piece is also snug. Don't forget to reconnect the horn. And the 4 bolts securing the condenser to the radiator are torqued to 53 inch-pounds. The rest is the reverse of the removal procedure. Next up, we'll replace the orifice tube. I'm replacing with the standard OEM unit, but you can always upgrade to a variable orifice valve. Basically, this improves AC performance at slow speeds and idle. Standard replacement costs around $5. The variable orifice valve costs around $20. At this point, the air intake has been removed. This system also has rear AC. I had plenty of space to loosen the fitting at a slight angle. Use an orifice tube tool to easily remove the OEM orifice tube. The tool is simply hooking on to a raised portion of the orifice tube. Simple. The install is simple. Lubricate the O-ring on the orifice tube with PAG oil and use mild force to get it back in position. The fitting is torqued to 21 foot-pounds. I left it good and tight. Moving on to the high pressure service valve. These GM ball service valves are notorious for leaking. Here's a diagnostic test I ran earlier. Obviously the service valve is leaking. I'm replacing with an upgraded Schrader valve version. Part number is Dorman 800-955. Use an R134A high side octagon socket to remove the entire fitting. The socket that I was using, the Master Core 98 234, was somewhat loose, but it got the job done. Last up, the accumulator. Disconnect the cycling pressure switch's connector and using a 16mm wrench, remove the cycling pressure switch. Use your favorite penetrant to soak the fittings because chances are they are going to be on there tight. To remove the fitting on the evaporator side, firmly grab onto the line on the right side. Firmly grasp it and using a big adjustable wrench, loosen the fitting. The key here is to not kink the line coming out of the evaporator. To loosen the other side, I grab the bottom of the accumulator like this and loosen the fitting. After that ordeal, you can finally remove the accumulator. This one comes with replacement O-rings. Change them out, lube them up. The replacement accumulator calls for 3.5 fluid ounces of PAG 46. Reconnect the fittings. I snugged everything up. And that's it. I hope you learned something. Have a good day.